You are listening to the Creative Women's League podcast. I'm your host and biggest fan, Kate Toney. Creative women entrepreneurs all over the globe turn to the Creative Women's League for social media advice, marketing help, and to get their minds in the mode to achieve bigger than they ever thought possible. Whether it's hearing the journey of your favorite creative badasses or the expert business advice shared, CWL is here for you with a whole lot of laughs, heaps of honesty, and endless support. Because over here, we know the secret sauce to building your creative empire all starts with motivation, inspiration, know-how, and community. If you want to exceed every goal, defeat the doubt, cast out fear, and connect with your fellow creative Wonder Woman, well, my dear, it's time to join the Creative Women's League. Hey everybody, it's Kate. I am the host of the Creative Women's League podcast. How are you today? I am so excited that you're joining me. You know who else is here with us? Tori.
Hey everybody.
What is going on with you, Tori? How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Well, fun. That's great. That's all we need to know about that.
That's all I want to say about it.
Yeah. Great. We weren't going in depth on it anyway. Okay. If you missed last week's episode, Tori is my sister. That's why I talk to her this way, that I shouldn't talk to anybody.
You should talk to most people this way.
No, just you. No, Ace, just you.
No.
No, just you.
No.
Tori's my sister, and she has now joined the CWL. So, no, it is not just... I know it sounds like it's just me talking back and forth to myself, because we sound so damn similar. But there is another person here. I promise. And Tori is bringing her expertise from big business in for us. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, you're going to be taking those things that you have done in Fortune 100 companies. We're going to be scaling them down so that they work with solopreneur type ventures with creative women. Usually it's just one of us in our business trying to make it work.
Yeah, as we had discussed on the last week's podcast, is I was asking what I thought to be very simple, almost yes or no questions to you, and they were overwhelming. You were like, I just don't have the time. I don't know how to do that. And to me, marketing is one of those really funny things, especially if you're starting your own business, that seems really terrifying. Big businesses use a lot of data, a lot of big fancy tools and things. And they do. But the core of it is something that even the earliest novice, is that a thing?
Sure, early novice. Sure, the early novice.
It is now. It is something that even a solopreneur who is just starting their jobs can manage.
Absolutely. So the CWL's main focus this year is really to help you streamline your business in ways that you never thought possible. Tori has already brought that to the CWL for my life, where you've helped me streamline processes, really get a grasp on what each process takes. And like you said, I mean, you kind of go, well, I don't have the money they have, or I don't have the time they have.
Right.
Great. It doesn't have to be a time suck or a money suck.
No.
Which is fan-freaking-tastic. So we're going to be scaling down these processes to make them work for you. Limited time, limited budget. When you're a solopreneur, it feels like you're wearing a million hats, and it gets so configuring. It gets so confusing to figure out what to do.
Wow.
I know. Still loopy. You guys are so lucky. So yeah, it gets, what that sentence was supposed to say, it gets so confusing to figure out what to do and when.
Yes.
When to do these things is huge too. Because there were times where I'd get ass before elbow and start to be like, well, if I do that, and then I gotta do this, then I gotta do this, and it just all becomes a mess.
Right. Yeah. And that going back to the conversations that we had about the CWL, where I was asking these things, and that was where your brain would go. Where I'm asking A, and you take me through to double, triple, quadruple Z, and I'm like, I didn't ask that.
I didn't ask that.
I didn't ask that, and you don't have to do that.
Yeah. Why are you talking
Who told
about
you that? And you're like, that's what I thought. And I was like, no, you thought wrong.
Yeah. It's so hard. What the hell do I focus on as a one-person show?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something all of us get plagued with. And when do I produce what? That's another big one. So today what we're going to do is we're going to break down the 3 different hats we want you to focus on as an entrepreneur, okay? All the other hats, we're going to streamline this down. The hats you are currently wearing are going to fit into here. And any extra ones you're wearing, put them aside for another day.
Yeah.
I think one of the big things that you've brought, I mean, this is all big things that you've brought, but there's also the, don't get a big ego about it, Tori. Brought some big things, but, is that you focus on these 3 hats. It's not that you throw the other hats away. It's not that you never do the other things you want to do. It's just that we have to focus on these 3 first. Yes. Get them flighted, get them working like a well-oiled machine. And then we can start to, I think I said to you right away, oh, okay, right, juggling. We're getting the 3 balls in the air first before we start to throw in bowling pins and chainsaws.
Yes. Get those in the air, because those other things are great, but when you boil everything down and you reduce it, you don't need those things right now.
No.
You're just getting your business off the ground. Yeah. You just need people to know that you're there and that you have
wonderful products.
A wonderful product.
Yep. So like I said, today we're going to talk about the 3 hats we want you to focus on as an entrepreneur. So when thinking about your business, we recommend that you segment your jobs into 3 categories. We have the manager, we have the planner, and we have the creator. And it's important that you take these jobs as seriously as you would if you were paying someone to do them. I don't like to say if you were doing the job somewhere else. I like to say is if you were paying you. Mm-hmm. Because when we go work at a company, sometimes we're like, it's okay. I do enough work. I might take a little afternoon off. But if you had to take your precious time and money and pay somebody to do these things, would you actually be happy with the focus that you give to the work you do? I ask myself that all the time. If I were paying me today and I told my manager I was going to get X, Y, and Z done, and I didn't get any of them done, what would they say? Right?
Yeah. It's not acceptable. That's what they would say.
It's not acceptable. So pretend that you are paying you. Would you be happy to pay yourself? Would you not be happy to pay yourself? Okay. And then we're going to break down these jobs. This also does not mean, by the way, this doesn't mean that you work yourself to death so that you're happy with paying you. No. No. I just want you to know that you have to do these jobs and do them well. Pretend like you're doing them for somebody else. Then you won't be quite as lenient with your planning days or your manager days.
And the days that you set up to schedule these things, due dates. You wouldn't be lenient on somebody on a due date if there weren't things. Obviously, a lot of people have kids. Your child gets sick or something comes up. Life happens. I'm not saying life doesn't happen.
Right. Absolutely.
But if your deadline, your due date, whatever it is being missed because you just didn't want to do it, that's when that's when you gotta be strict with yourself.
Yeah, gotta be strict with yourself. So today we're gonna break down these jobs and how using these different hats can help you manage your time better. I have started doing this since Tori has joined the CWL, which was longer ago than you guys realize, but it didn't get announced for a while. But anyway, I've been doing these for a while now, and it's been incredible for my business and for my mental wellness. I mean, it's been awesome. So the first one is manager. So as a manager, your job is to plan, budget, and oversee and document all aspects of a specific project. That's more like a project manager, but still manager. And a project manager, which you can look at yourself as well, a manager or a project manager, they manage time and resources.
Yes.
You are the manager for every project you have going on. Everything. You can look at anything in your business as a project, and you're the project manager for it.
Yes.
Yeah? So it's imperative to guard your time and your resources, mostly being time and money.
Yes.
Yeah. There's also, there's so much more that we can go into about, protecting your mental wellness and the time of day that you're most productive and all those things. But the manager hat is the most important hat you wear. It's going to be the foundation for a streamlined and well-organized and profitable business. Because you can't afford to be a bad manager.
No.
You just can't.
You can't. You can't afford to be... Now the stakes are high because you are your own manager. And if you don't take that manager hat or that role, and you don't take it seriously in yourself, your business isn't going to be as successful or as fulfilling for yourself as it can be.
Well, that's the real thing too, is like, it's not about running your business like it's the military. It's so much more enjoyable to work on your business when you can take a look at everything and go, holy crap, I have done so well this week. Like, I have worked ahead in these areas. This one is due on that day, and that'll be done at the last minute, and that's okay. Because it doesn't feel like everything's getting done at the last minute. So the thing about being a manager is you can't afford to just not have time for this step. I get told that a lot by everybody. Not everybody, but a lot of people will message me and say, you said to do this thing. I don't got time to do this thing. I don't want to hear it about the manager. I love you. I will help you figure out how to implement it in your business, but I will not hear that you don't have time for it. You don't have time to not do it.
No.
You're always going to be chasing your tail. So how you wear your manager hat is by allotting a day of the month that you will sit and schedule your time for the next 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best thing you can do. Tori and I did one recently. It was awesome, but frustrating. I'll get to that in a second. So you give yourself one day. There's a good chance it'll take less than a full day, but I want you to give yourself a full day. Mm-hmm. Because then once you get through it, it might feel like a drudgery, especially at first, the first few times you do it, schedule yourself one full day to do it. And if you do it in 3 hours, then you have the rest of the day to do whatever you want to do. I've heard it called a CEO day, is how I've heard it explained recently. It's just a day, and a lot of people make that day fun for them. So they'll go get a manicure and pedicure, get their favorite coffee drink, treat themselves, especially if they get done early. I know a lot of people who will, after doing, Amy Porterfield talks about it. Mm-hmm. I've gotten Tori addicted to Amy Porterfield recently. And she talks about how she does her planning days. And after that, they have a goal in mind, what they're going to get done. And then she's ready to go out for ice cream and wine. And that's it. So do that. At the end of your CEO day, take yourself out to your favorite place to eat. Just to make it more fun for you.
Yeah, going back to what you said earlier, you don't want this day work needs to get done. You have work to do. But you don't need to beat yourself up over it, and it doesn't need to be torturous.
Yeah.
So take care of yourself, because your business, you want to work for this business for it to take care of you.
Yeah.
You still have to be kind to yourself. We're not telling you to not be kind to yourself, even if you say, I have no time. Make time, and make time to make it special.
Yeah. I mean, set a calendar day right now. If you're in a place where you can do that, you aren't listening while you're driving, set a day right now. And that Monday is going to be the day you sit and do this. And it's easiest if you remove yourself from your house, especially if you have, young kids or a husband who gets like, but I thought we were going to watch a movie. Brad's kind of like that sometimes. So I understand. Remove yourself. Go to a coffee shop and work on this. But It's important. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be scheduling your time blocks for your other hats. Okay. So the other times you have to do stuff and the due dates. You're going to set aside one day to figure out your schedule for the rest of the month. So you're going to figure out when you're creating product, when you're answering emails, what days do you have off, which is important. I want you to sit down and schedule yourself days off where you don't even think about your business. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to even think about it on those days. So they can be tentative because I can hear you right now. You're saying, I don't know what the next day holds, so I can't commit to all of this stuff for a month. This is important. And if it's important to you to have your business be a business, then you will make time for this. Trust me. I didn't want to do it either. But it's so important. And if you hired a manager for your company and they were too busy to manage others, to schedule meetings, to plan products, you would fire them. Boom. That's it.
This is your business.
It's your business. Let's do it.
And we handle it like a business. It's still just you.
Yeah.
But you still got to handle it like a business.
Well, and that's not to say, once again, and maybe we should talk about this with the next one, but Tori and I had one the other day where I was like, Tori, Brad wants us, you guys know I'm now obsessed with wrestling. Never thought that would happen. So Brad wants us to go see wrestling, and you and I had plans to record the podcast tonight, and I just don't know what we're going to do. And Tori said, well, we don't have these things due until 2 or 3 days out. You're already ahead of schedule on everything but recording the podcast. And it's not due for 2 days. Let's go do this fun thing. So it actually helps you create more fun in your life because you aren't focused on all the what ifs and all the blah, blah, blah. You have things scheduled out. Wonderful. Because so once again, it can be kind of tentative.
Yeah.
It can be kind of it's not set in stone. We don't want you to be like, this damn child, why did they get sick? But I want you to sit down. You're going to take one day and you're going to figure out your schedule for the rest of the month. That is your manager day. Mm-hmm. So the next hat we have you wearing is the planner hat. So manager and planner, they're like a Venn diagram, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
So there are certain things that, thank you, Tori.
Yes, I would.
So they're, manager and planner are like a Venn diagram, right? Mm-hmm. There's definitely an overlap between the two where they have a lot of this similar ideas going on, but there are some tasks that are very clearly planner or very clearly manager. So your job as a planner is to decide what content you are creating throughout the rest of the month, set your timelines of creation, and the duration of the content. So what this means is if you say, I'm going to create a blog on Monday, and that's going to be my most active blog for 1 week. And during that time, I'm going to write an email about the blog and do 3 Instagram posts that go back to it. Okay? So you're just starting to set out what the content is going to look like. Mm-hmm. I know, trust me, I know. You're going, I can't sit down and do all this. But you can. Just breathe. Okay? You're going to sit down and write out your content in a concrete way, not in a list that is kind of fluid. Things that you might do. A list that you're
never going to look at. And also be realistic with that list.
Yes.
What can you actually provide content for in that month?
Yes.
If you put that you were going to provide 20 different blog posts, let's say you do a blog, you're going to provide 20, and realistically you can only do 5. Mm-hmm. Why are you saying 20?
Don't say 20. Don't say 20. Don't do it.
Don't be realistic with your time and what you can give this business. Be realistic with what you can do so you can also feel good about the content you're putting out. You're not trying to become a machine in putting out content. You're just trying to be more efficient and shrewd with your time.
Yeah. So with the planner, you're deciding, because manager, you've already scheduled out your blocks, right? So you already know when you have your CEO days and when you're creating content and when your days off are. Planner is you're planning how you're using that time. So if you say that Mondays you are working on blog content for 3 hours or whatever,
Planner is how you're using that time. And you need to sit down and say, okay, we have 3 blog posts over the next month. I'm going to write 3 emails that will hark back to that. I'm going to make sure I have Instagram posts that go back to that. It's really breaking it down. So as a planner, you can work 1, 3, 6 months, a year ahead. Mm-hmm. Tori worked a year ahead. Don't is what I'm going to say. But Tori worked a year ahead when she was at when she was in the Fortune 500,
100,
Fortune 900 company. I don't know what these things are. I don't know numbers. So Tori, when you were in that big company that you worked for, you were working a year ahead, at least.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, at least a year ahead. We don't want you to do that. I want you to work 1 to 3 months ahead. And I really want you to start at 1 month ahead. Mm-hmm. I want you to ramp up to working 3 months ahead.
Yes.
And I don't want you to work more than 3 months ahead. Do you?
No, because you want your creative, you want your content, you want your creative, and you want those things to be as fluid with what's changing. So if things are successful and working for you, but you've decided that this is going to happen 9 months from now,
right?
Why?
Right. Let's say all of a sudden you write 3 blogs that are similar, mm-hmm. and the third one goes viral, and now everybody wants that content, but you've got posts 6 months out.
Yeah, you've been scheduling.
You're like,
posts.
Oh crap! Now I got to get rid of all those posts, which mm-hmm. is just time wasted. So we don't want you to do that. Or, there's so many challenges and so many trends that hit. Mm-hmm. If you're working 6 months out, you could be working on a trend that was way past.
Yes.
In 6 months. Or there could be a trend that hits and then you're like, crap, well now I have all this other content. I can't really push stuff around. I'm working on the next 6 months. So yeah, we want you to stay 1 to 3 month increments. Okay. And as part of your CEO day, you're going to go back and forth between the manager and planner role often. Because the manager is setting the deadlines and the planner is working out how you're going to meet the deadlines. That's probably the best way to.
Yeah, I would say, yes, definitely. That the manager managing the time and resources, and the planner is the execution of that time and resource allotment.
Oh, fancy. I like it. It's perfect. There should probably be an episode someday where we kind of do like a day in the life of our CEO day.
Yeah.
And how it looks, because once you start to see it, it's really not scary. I always think it's scary. It's really not scary. So when you go into planner mode, what you're going to do is you're going to task out each deadline. So how we're going to do that is we're going to say what is involved in meeting that deadline. How long will it realistically take you? I can do a blog post in 15 minutes. No, you can't. Okay. And even if you could, give yourself a half hour to be nice to yourself, yes. Right? Don't super over plan your time.
Right. If it takes you 30 minutes to write a blog post, say 45 minutes. Give yourself that extra 15 minutes.
Don't say 2 hours.
Don't say 2 hours, and don't say 5 minutes. Because one, your content that you're writing in 5 minutes is not going to be quality content that your group of people that you're catering to are going to want to read.
Yeah.
And if you give yourself 2 hours, then your day is going to turn into a 24-hour day, and you're not going to touch that.
You're going to overwhelm yourself.
You're going to
You're going to be like, it's going to take me 12 hours to write these 3 blog posts. And it won't. It won't. So Be realistic when you figure out your time. So first we're going back. 1, what is involved in meeting that deadline? 2, how long will it realistically take you? 3, when can you set aside time per your manager's set schedule to work on these tasks, right? Mm-hmm. So if you know that you have a weekend coming up, you gave yourself a 3-day weekend, you have to factor that in. I'll have to get it done on that Thursday.
Yes.
Because I have extra days off. So for an example is for the podcast. So we have to write scripts. We have to record the episode. We have to edit the episode, get it uploaded, get our show descriptions in place, make our downloads, and create our landing page for it. You guys have seen our awesome landing pages now. So with that, we need to decide how much time each task takes, when each task is due, and then look at our schedules and see when we can work on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we did with the wrestling.
Yeah.
You were like, look at your schedule. Can you take this night off and still meet due dates? And I said, hell yeah, I can. Let's go watch those greased up guys wrestle each other. Kind of did say that.
You did.
I got heart eyes emoji all about it. But, so yeah, that's how it would look. You gotta say exactly what goes into what you're creating, when each one is due, how much time each one takes, figure out when you're going to work on it per your manager's
And that
schedule.
due date is going to be very important for that, because that will give you the wiggle room. Again, factoring in those times, if you know you're going to be doing, if you're going to have events these 2 days this week, and typically your Instagram post with...
That's Troy's cat, and just keep moving.
Typically your due date is this day. Your due date is not going to change. That due date is going to stay the same. You have to work ahead of that due date.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you have to always be working ahead of your due date.
Yes.
You're not going to go, well, technically, if I did it the next day. No.
No. Your due date stays the same. Because your due date, you can do it the next day. Don't.
Right.
But understand that the rest of your due dates for that content are going to be that day of the week. So you've just put yourself behind on your next content.
That's the thing. Yeah. Well, and you had said that with I keep using the wrestling, but you had said that when I wanted to go out with you and Brad and watch wrestling together, I could tell it was important to Brad. You said, if this was tomorrow night and we hadn't recorded, then the answer would be no.
Right.
But it's not. It's tonight. We have buffer. You are fully in control. You're ahead on everything else. Like, life is good. Let's do it. And so that felt amazing. That was the first time where this system really started to feel like, holy crap, there's a lot of reward in this.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to get real cozy as the planner. Get real cozy with your preferred method of day planning. Okay. Tori is a Google Tasks kind of person. I have a planner from Target. I had asked on the Creative Women's League. Some people use Passion Planner or
bullet journals,
Panda Planner or something, Plum Planner. I just got one from Target. I like Day Designer. I'm a Day Designer lady. Get whatever helps you organize your time best, whatever it is. Have a real firm grasp on that. And I do want to say, I've kind of hinted at it, but this can be overwhelming. And it is for me. Like, Tori will stop me multiple times and say, why are you stressed out right now? What is stressing you out about this? And I just kind of have to talk through it, but Tori helps pull me through it. So stick with it. Get through it. Get to the other side. Just breathe. Give yourself time to work out the schedule, because the next part is the fun part. Yeah. Just give your time to plan this schedule out, because the next part is the part that you're in it for, which is the third hat.
And once, as Kate had said in the beginning of the podcast, these days will get easier and easier when you get into a system. Then you'll be able to do your schedule just like anything. Once you get into a groove with these things, that time, what used to take you 45 minutes to do a blog post, now takes you 30 minutes to do a blog post, because you get into a system and your management and your planning periods are going to be the same. Yeah. It's going to be the same way.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic. So the third hat is the most fun one. The third hat is your creator hat. So the creator hat breaks down into two categories. You either have a content creator. These are our bloggers, our YouTubers, our podcasters. Woo woo.
Hey.
We're content creators, y'all. So you're not creating a physical product for people to purchase. You are creating content for people to consume. That's us. Then there's a goods creator. So a goods creator is a person or a company that makes goods for sale. You fall under this if you create goods with your hands, not if you're getting goods or products made by a company, right? Mm-hmm. So if you are making it yourself, then you're a goods creator. If you sell like sewing scissors and you have a company make them for you, you don't fall under this category. You have a manufacturer and then you're reselling them. This is more like pattern designers. Mm-hmm. These are my crocheters who sell their physical blankets and sell their patterns.
Pottery.
Pottery, our bag makers, what up? We love you. How you doing? So if you're creating a physical product yourself, you are a goods creator.
Mm-hmm.
So you may wear both hats, by the way.
Yes.
You might be a goods creator and a content creator. I know we have some people who do like patterns and blogs. But you need to decide what is most central to your business.
Yes.
For now, right? We're not saying forever. We're saying right now. Are you a blogger who makes quilts or a quilter who has a blog? See the difference here? It kind of, it changes which one the focus is on. So you have time for both. 100% you have time for both. It just limits what else you can do. So you can't make 3 YouTube videos a week and a dozen quilts and write a blog. You gotta let some things go until you have a team. That's all there is to it. Eventually, we want you to have this, right? Eventually, you're going to be Martha Stewart, but the you version of Martha Stewart, the badass version. And you can do all those things. But for right now, we need you to focus. So whether you're making content or goods, you have to hit your deadline. You have to hit your deadline. Your pattern can't come out next week. It can't. You told yourself it was going to come out February 1st. Don't make it come out February 8th. Unless, once again, this all has the asterisk of major life things could happen. But hopefully we have planned far enough in advance that that still won't necessarily hinder our due dates. So, hitting due dates is really hard for artsy types.
Yes.
Really hard for artsy types. It's also really hard when the only person we have to be accountable to is us. Because you're like, well, forget that. I won't beat myself up about it. I'll just do it next week. Or I will beat myself up about it, but I'll still do it next week, which is the Kate way to go. It's hugely important that you take your deadlines seriously. Treat them like you're working for a client. You wouldn't miss a deadline for your manager. You wouldn't miss a deadline for your client. Why would you miss them for you? Don't do it. Don't freaking do it. What do you have to say about that, Tori? Don't miss your deadlines.
So I am the more analytical of the two. So to me, this is the most important part. And this is the part that I don't see a lot of leeway in because I came from the business side. If your due date is your due date,
right?
The time ahead of that due date is yours to do with whatever you choose.
Right.
But you have come up with that due date and that deadline, whether it's a weekly one that we do for Creative Women's League where we have days of the week, or you've given yourself a specific day of the month. Regardless, you set that timeline. So if it's not reachable, then you have to go back into that manager role and assess what is reachable.
Yeah.
It all comes back to that. I don't really see deadlines as being, even though it's hard for artsy types and it's hard for when it's just you in a business. Even if you replay this every single time, you're about to think about missing a due date, then you can have your own Tori saying, actually, you can't miss that due date because the only person that this is going to affect now is you.
Yeah, don't screw yourself over, basically. Don't screw yourself over. And I've heard, and it's always kind of an ongoing goal for me, is to keep promises to yourself, little ones like this, first and foremost. Because it just gets too easy to not wake up when you said you're going to wake up, not have stuff due when you said you're going to do it, not start eating clean when you said, you know what I mean? It gets so easy to ignore yourself. This is one place I really want you to just listen. Plus,
and don't let your business be another point in life for you to be hard on yourself. For you to miss those deadlines and you beat yourself up and you be entrenched in guilt and shame. This is not the point of it.
Right. Yeah. And if you've streamlined your planner and managerial work, which you've done on your CEO days, then you get to spend time doing what you love to do, what you are here to do, which is create. You're here to be creative. You're here to have this business that you can turn into a full-on career, make more money than you ever believed, and you can do that. These are just some of the steps that we need you to take to get there. So I hear you freaking out that you can plan all you want. You're still going to have sick kids. You're still going to get sick yourself. Your partner's family will suddenly plan a trip to visit, which happens to me a lot. They're not planners like I am, so I'll get surprised with visits a lot. I love it, but usually it throws me into a tailspin with my business because I haven't planned things out. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But it's okay. These things happen, okay? We're going to make our lives more streamlined so when the shit hits the fan, you have a bird's eye view and then you get to pivot and plan. I'm going to be a little intense here, okay? Tori and I are tough love people anyway, as you have noticed. A lot of you know that about me anyway, but this is going to get a little intense. It's a weak excuse to never plan ahead because something might throw that plan off at some point. That is a weak ass excuse. I have done it over and over again in my life. Well, if I plan that out, I'm going to get strep. But why did I do that? Mm-hmm. No. Something will throw your plan off. Accept that now. Your plan is not set in stone. The whole universe has not agreed on this plan.
Yes.
After a while of planning, you're going to have a contingency plan in place. Okay? You're going to be able, because you have planned, you're going to be able to say, I don't have to freak out when these things happen. And what I mean about a contingency plan, going back to that, is and we'll talk about that on another episode, but after long enough of planning, you're going to have information on the things you've done. You're going to have a backlog of this wonderful information, wonderful content you've put out or whatever. And you'll be able to hark back to those things on those crappy days. But you have to start, okay? Mm-hmm. You have to start today. You have to start planning. We have the manager hat, the planner hat, and the creator. I don't even remember our hats. No, I do. I'm just loopy as hell now. And you have the creator hat. We're going to deal, because some of us, it's not our deal. I understand. We're going to put up with the manager and the planner hat so that we can more enjoy our creator hat. Because that's why we're here. That's why we're here. So we're going to refer to the hats a lot. Yes. This is one of our kind of key things going into 2019.
Yes.
The cure of the cure.
I love that band.
Man, it's the cure of what we're doing. It's the core of what we're doing is what I tried to say. It is, though. It's the core of everything we're building this year are these 3 hats and how we are going to help you plan your business. I love you guys. You guys know that so much. Tori, you don't know this, but I profess my love to them every week.
Good.
Because I love them. And they're wonderful, wonderful business owners. I can't wait for you to get to know them, Tori. So go subscribe to this podcast to make sure that you have it. It just pops up on your phone every week when it comes out. Go join us over on Creative Women's League at Creative Women's League on Instagram. I meant to say Instagram. Go join us on Instagram at Creative Women's League. Boom. Got it. This is all going to be in the show description. So don't worry. You don't have to memorize it. Tori's cat is calling her to bed now.
He's very particular about going to bed and throws a big fit when we don't go to bed when he wants to.
So it's bedtime, you guys. Love you so much. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week. You might have just heard him jump up onto this ironing board, but you know, whatever. You're still here? It's over. Go home.